try to go over once again the multiple example paragraph. So in week 2, I put up some sample ones. There's a whole packet that came from that book that's also posted that's under like the class main stuff, the book that we use for composition. And all of this stuff is in there, but I posted it separately so you didn't have to go through the whole book. But anyway, so let's look at the one that I went over in class the one day. So this is a previous student's paragraph, and this is how they set it up. So they were talking about the Back to the Future movies and how they did a great job with the 4 different time periods in history that each of those movies focuses on. So they have a topic sentence, they have attitude words, and they have the limited topic, which are the things that we went over in that previous worksheet. So then I labeled this, so I highlighted it. This is the A. For example, Back to the Future aficionados cruise into the 1880s through the elaborately detailed setting and profound characterization of Seamus McFly, Marty's Irish grandfather in Back to the Future 3. Okay, so the A is the Back to the Future cruises through the elaborate detailed setting and characters in Back to the Future 3. Okay, so they're going to talk about then Back to the Future, which one? Back to the Future 3. And then they're talking about the settings and the characterizations. So that means then that all of their ones are going to be about the setting, and all of their twos are going to be about the characterizations. So A1, to depict, and it's talking about the nascent communities of the 1880s. The movie featured single road towns, dusty streets, smoky saloons, community fairs, shooting showdowns, outlawed gangs, right? So it's describing the settings here. And then for the A2, it already told me up here, right in the A, that it's going to talk about the characters. So Seamus, a poor Irish farmer, one of the first to immigrate to America, and Marty's family brings to life many aspects of the 1800s family farm. So again, it's relating to the time period that Back to the Future 3 is focusing on. And the first one's about the setting, and now how the characters bring that time period to life. Okay, so now B is focusing on Back to the Future 1, which depicts the American lifestyle in the 1950s, announcing 50-cent movies and traditional diners with centerpiece jukeboxes. So this little bit just adds something to the sentence, right? So that your B isn't just a simple sentence that, is like 5 words. Okay, so now B1 is going to be about, what did it tell me up here? All about the setting. Okay, so within the first hour arriving at this time period, for instance, Marty stares curiously at posters presenting Ronald Reagan's newest film, gas stations that feature 4-man oil fills and billboards. Okay, so he's talking about what does he see, this setting that has to do with the 1950s. And then the next one's going to be about what? The characterization. Okay, so B2, named Lorraine Baines, Marty's mother embodies the quintessentialness of the traditional 50s teenager by attending school dances, styling her short hair with curls, keeping a hope chest, enjoying hits like Mr. Sandman and Earth Angel, and sporting long skirts or dresses to school. So this is all about the B, which is Back to the Future 1, talking about the period of the 1950s, this setting, so what does he see when he gets there, and then the characters, how they also fit into that time period. So then C, we can guess, right, is going to be about another time period. Fans can also gain insight into the lifestyles of the 1980s, the decade in which Marty McFly naturally belongs. So C1 is going to be about settings. Lifestyle aspects typical of this time period and featured in Back to the Future 1 include large shopping plazas with modern day stores where foreign tourists with bulky guns saunter. Oh, they have bulky guns? Okay. Um, Exercise salons, televised news broadcast about plutonium, expansive suburban neighborhoods, and family owning several television sets, fully appliance kitchens, and multiple cars. Okay, so this is about the settings in the 1980s, which goes with the C's, and since it's a 1, we know it has to be settings. And then 2's. What's 2 have to be about? The characters. In addition, characters like Marty McFly, with his dream of owning the popular Toyota 4x4, aspirations of reaching rock stardom, frequent use of the telephone and camcorder, and steady relationship with girlfriend Jennifer Parker, also aid in recreating the lives led by Americans in the 1980s. So, again, these two things help the movie depict the 1880s, which is what C tells me it's going to be about. Concluding, oh no, now we're on one more. Not only does the Back to the Future movie series illustrate decades in the past, but it also weaves a plot around a decade in the future, the 2010s. So this is the D, right? We're doing another time period that's depicted in the Back to the Future movies. So my 1's are going to be about setting. Opening scenes of Marty's transportation into the future feature cars flying on air highways, a sleep-induced alpha rhythm generator that Dr. Emmett Brown uses to temporarily paralyze Marty's dangerously curious girlfriend, skateboards that hover on air, and telepathic video games. So that's the setting. And then the character. Jennifer Parker, whom Marty marries in the future, personifies the life of 2010 with her computer-programmed house capable of speech and offering fruit on demand. The shrunken, dehydrated meals like pizza the size of an eyeball she feeds to her family, and her episode with Hill Valley Police, during which policewomen use a gadget to recognize her fingerprints along a database of trillions. Okay, so that is how the characters, and then that's the setting, all have to do with 2010s. And then, last but not least, the concluding sentence. Although Dr. Emmett Brown and Marty McFly needed a DeLorean and liquid plutonium fuel to cruise through time, science fiction lovers only need the Back to the Future movie series to viciously experience 4 different time periods with incredibly distinct lifestyles. Okay? So that's what we're looking at. You need a topic, right? And then you would have 4 different parts of it, which you would use as the examples. And then your 1's and 2's would be the details to support those examples. Okay? All right, so this is that packet that is posted where it has possible topics. Here's the outline that you were supposed to have filled in. And then here's some questions. If we were doing the peer evaluation, we are not. We're doing a self. So this is the stuff that you'll see posted for today or Monday to do the self exam. And then here is the rubric. So we're going to be looking at the focus, the content, the organization, and the style. So no first or second person words. This is not like your passions essay. No umbrella words, or I like to call them zombie words, right? So good, bad, a lot. No contractions. Can't would be cannot. No 2 sentences begin with the same word per paragraph. It is only 1 paragraph, so that makes it a little bit easier. No sentences begin with the word there. And then avoid passive voice. Grammar, mechanics, creative title, and MLA format. So no spelling errors, no grammar errors, and no fragments or run-ons. Okay. For this essay, actually, you're not going to be losing points on the active voice because we're going to cover that tomorrow on Tuesday. So therefore, that's going to be focused on in the next essay. Okay. All right. So hopefully, I'm going to scroll back up here real quick, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So this is all posted under week 2. Week 2, it's been there. And this explains, here's another one if you wanted to look at a sample paragraph of how that's set up. Okay? All right. Have fun.